things are falling apart, and the reports about last-minute maneuvers, one, to avert Monday mass action, and number two, to win anti-bill crusaders, has really shocked many. And to say the truth, the kind of passion and force that is being seen in the bid to make sure that this bill is passed is something that is really worrying. And that is where that is the point of focus. After ejecting Seth Panyako from UDA party for failing to support the presidential agenda, the MPs are not spared, and they are telling tales that are very interesting. I listened to Ichun'gwa saying that they are trying their level best to break down the proposals to members of parliament, those that are opposing, because according to him, the members of parliament that are opposing the bill are opposing the bill because they have not understood it. And I dare say, that one is insulting people's intelligence. Do you want to tell me that members of parliament, they are MPs who they have not understood the bill, and that is why they are opposing it? It is not true. And this podcast, we're going to look at why they are opposing it. But some interesting stories have emerged about how late night calls are being made to individual members of parliament and leaders that have shown publicly disapproving the bill. And there are quite a number of things at stake. You either choose to remain in UDA or support the bill and or even leave the party. And one of the other things at stake is even missing on the UDA ticket moving forward. In respect to, if you can't support the bill, then you are not part of the UDA fraternity. It has gotten to that. It has gotten to that level that you either support or ship out. I don't know. And that is why some of us are just questioning. It's so suspicious. Someone was asking why. I think that was Kitui's governor was asking. That he's been in parliament for all over 10 years. Why is it that this bill is attracting a lot of opposition, or rather criticism, from Kenyans across political divide? Why is someone not saying that? Or is just someone just treating it as if other camp has been infiltrated? There is also another threat that you also risk losing parliamentary privilege leadership positions, committee positions, in respect to your position on the bill. There are quite a number of MPs that have been given lucrative committee positions, head committee leadership, different leadership positions in parliament, heading committees. So there are those who also risk even losing those positions if you can't support the bill. I'm telling you, Puku. Then there is something called monthly presidential roundtable. And is it MPR? MPR is a special access to the president, and probably some few that are privileged get access. And in that roundtable, maybe you can, you have a chance of negotiating for maybe your constituents of your region or something. So that roundtable, you might also be locked out of it. We've seen quite a number then trying to disassociate the president of late. But we want to say this. The reason why MPs are opposing the bill is not what really the observation that people are making. And it is not about the MPs. I said here that the assumption that Raila is misleading the public on William Ruto's administration is very wrong. There is that assumption that clumping together any other opposition or criticism of the current administration as Raila supporters. That has always been the narrative. Even some of us, I normally try to make my podcasts be about the issue, and I hit it, whether Raila supports it or not. But I will always hit it. But there is that umbrella of Raila assent. It's always about what the opposition say, what the Azimio is saying. I did a previous podcast about governance. I don't know whether Azimio has spoken about that. I don't know that Raila has spoken about the problem with our budget is not about money, it's not about governance. I got that from my own research. So that's what we are saying. The reason why this is happening is because it is a critical time that there is a breakaway. And leaders do not want to be seen as a bit insensitive to the suffering of the constituents. President William Ruto doesn't go to each and every constituency daily. It's only on Sunday that he'll attend a church service. It's normally a choreographed event where he will have tent all over, round clock, surrounded by security, and just making a speech in front of some leaders in front with the church members. Then after that, take choppers and go home. That's it. That's number one. Since the president assumed office, he is never in touch with the people. But a member of parliament is issuing bursaries from the start of a month. Maybe in Patam is issuing bursary. A member of parliament is attending funerals. A member of parliament is daily, and this one we're talking about competent member of parliament, is interacting with the constituents. So he's being seen there. And because he's in contact with the people are telling him, and him or her, that this is against us, and they're feeling the suffering of the people. So what is happening is the direction that the administration, the UD is taking, is making leaders to make a choice. That you either stand with the hustler or stand with the leaders, with the dynasty. In fact, we've spoken about policy as pro-hustler, but it's not. It's actually not pro-hustler. It's against the hustler. So it is not about the leader. You can bribe, you can pay, you can call, you can threaten. But it is not about the MP. It's not about the senator, the governor. It is about the people. So that is the disconnect. And I'm looking at it that we are not very sensitive to it because some of these leaders, opponents are gaining ground. Let me tell you. Their opponents are gaining the ground. And they stand chance of really getting threatened by those maybe from Azimio or the other side. So when you don't seem to be very sensitive to the people, for example, an MP goes, supports and comes and support. Then your opponent on the other side, who knows, because at the end of the day, watu wanateseka, goes and speaks against the same bill to the people, you're simply lacking the ground. At the national politics, you never know. I've said, a good MP should understand that William Ruto never became a president because of a vote. A good William Ruto ally must know that Ruto can become a president through his own means, but you hapa chini uangushe na mwananchi because you never tetead for him or her. So that is what a competent MP someone who has been in politics for long should understand. The bill is shedding off the hustler tag, but truth be told, some of these members of parliament and leaders have been in leadership for quite so long. And if Kenyans are smelling a rat, do you want to tell me that even the leaders don't know that the bill is dishonest? Number one, let me tell you, if the houses are built, then it is a scheme to have influx of houses being built, and of course the money going to it, not for an economic value, but because someone gonna benefit from building those houses. You realize that when you do tendering, I'm telling you, you realize that it's only one politician who is supplying cement for construction of the whole building, where one politician is in charge of something. So the few people that are going to benefit are just those around power. That is number one. Number two is that the money may never go, or that the intention may never be to elevate, to eradicate the slums as it's being presented. So leaders are also saying, you know, I'm not going to be part of your own plan to deceive Kenyans. That is also part of the corridors. And that is why I believe that all these backroom maneuvers to make it through, even though it's going to pass it, it's something that really we should pay attention to. That's my bold, and let's meet in the next.